Good afternoon, everybody. My name is Donna Fiesel, and I'm your host of Afternoon Drive Home on IC Radio in the town of Geraldine, Alabama. We are your source for news and entertainment and information. You can also find us on television, channel 182 on Charter Communications, as well as Abundant TV, which is found on Roku, Apple TV, and Amazon Fire. And we're in Australia too, Doug. I didn't tell you about that.
Oh, wow.
Yes, we sure are. Yeah, we're really growing like crazy. And this is all due to Abundance TV. So, Rob Patz, thank you so much for giving us this opportunity. We definitely appreciate that. I've got a really good friend with me right now, and his name is Doug McGee, and he is with Second Chance Animal Shelter. And I always look forward. We've been doing, how many years have we been doing this, Doug? This is awesome.
Oh, probably at least 5 or 6 anyways. It's been a long time. It has been.
At least. Now, we got a lot of new watchers out there today, okay, on television and probably listeners as well. So let's talk about what Second Chance Animal Shelter is and what's your role there.
I'm the founder, and my role is, I don't know. I'm the whatever.
Same as here.
Yeah, I'm just the guy. And
an important guy too to this neighborhood.
We are the only hope Alabama. I only hope that dogs in North Alabama really have in our area anyways. Now, there are other places that do a lot of good work. I can't say that there are not other people doing what we're doing. But for the most part, in Boaz, Albertville, those parts of Alabama, if they survive, it has a lot normally to do with us and the people that work with us.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. So, you guys are definitely a shining light out there.
We're trying, and this has been 2022 has been a upside down, really a strange and difficult year, but the tide is turning. Through the summer, we were struggling. So many people wanting to get rid of their dogs, and it's still that way, but we are adopting more out, so it's coming around. It's just a cycle. The summer always ends up being kind of on the downside side a little bit.
It is good. And so I get your newsletter, The Second Chance Worker. And so what I saw is 87 noses in. That means you took in 87.
Right.
And then you had 70 noses out. And
right, which means, you think, that's upside down, which is something we don't particularly care for. But you figure that's in a month, 17 more dogs in. So that means 17 more dogs we got to feed. Of course, we get them fixed. That's 17 more times we have to take dogs to the vet to get them fixed. But that's okay. We've had months that were worse than this. This hopefully October is going to be the other way. Maybe we'll have 2 more out than in. Either way, but I think we'll get there. It's just ups and downs. For the year, we're up about 75 or 6 dogs from the start of the year to now. So yeah, it's definitely been an upside down year, but we just have to roll with it.
Well, I think what happens though is gas prices have went up, food prices have went up, and so people start thinking about that. They start thinking about what they can do, to save money.
A whole lot to do with it. That's people call us a lot of times first to say, "Hey, can I bring my dog?" And probably the number 2 reason would be they can't afford it. I mean, people right now, a lot of people say, "I can't afford to feed myself, much less my dog." So they want to surrender. I mean, that's, I get that. You got to look out for yourself, but that's a big part. And another one, of course, a lot of people I think have been have to relocate because of the economy. Maybe they're having to sell their house or whatever. So if they move into apartments, they can't take their dog with them. It's just a lot of, like I said, 2022 is going to go down in my mind as one of the most upside down years we've had.
Yeah.
But you got to keep, got to keep it moving. Got to keep, we can't give up. So we got to keep going with it. And I'm really hoping October so far is doing pretty well. I'm leaving out for Thursday night to go to Wisconsin to take some more dogs up there. But even up in Wisconsin, one shelter closed down in Oshkosh, which is close to where we deal with. So they're having some of the issues that they don't normally have because they have a better situation with their dogs. But it's changing. Hopefully theirs is temporary too.
Well, one big problem I know that's out there is people who don't have their animals fixed. And so, I mean, an animal's an animal, and then it has puppies, and then I got to think about what they're going to do with these puppies. Let's educate folks. Why would it be important to have your animal spayed, neutered? I mean, why is it so important?
The number one reason is because if you overpopulate, there's only one way out for a lot of these dogs, and that's destruction in a animal in a pound. When we have too many dogs, the way people deal with it is kill the ones the oversupply.
Oh, I can't stand
So
that
if
thought.
if I know it's sad, and if we want to get to a point where we're not putting down healthy dogs at the pounds, we're going to have to control the population. So that's number one. Um, on that end, Wando drove from. We live in Boaz, and Douglas is about 12 miles away. I think maybe 15. And she went to Douglas to one of our veterinarians, and she saw 3 signs at residences, free puppies. So it's all just in that 15-mile stretch down Highway 168 in Boaz, 3 different signs where people were advertising to free puppies to give away, which tells me, and the sad thing is that at least probably one of them houses in 6 months, there'll be another sign up, free puppies, because they don't get it. And there's a couple of things, we think about how much a litter of puppies would cost. If you have a mama dog that has puppies, if you're any kind of human being, you're going to feed them, and all that's expensive. It's a lot cheaper just go ahead and get her fixed or him fixed, and you don't have to worry about it.
Mm-hmm.
So spay and
Well,
neuter, we're fans.
well, I mean, people say, well, it's expensive to do that, but it's actually more expensive to have puppies all the time. Then you got to feed them, and then then there's giving them away. You want them to go to a good home, so a
That's
lot of
right.
effort is put into that as well.
Oh, and a lot of people, if you have puppies, you give them away. Well, then that puts an unfixed puppy into the hands of somebody else. And if they have the same mentality that that person does, in about 6 or 8, 10 months, that puppy's going to have dogs to have puppies. So we can't keep up with it. The only way we're going to be able to right now, the only way we're going to be able to ever stop the killing of healthy animals at pounds is to spay and neuter.
Mm-hmm.
And guys, I'll be honest, the very first dog I ever had neutered, um, it was not the easiest thing. I felt kind of bad,
Mm-hmm.
but after that, and it has no effect on them whatsoever. I instantly became a big fan because I know the end result.
Mm-hmm.
The first one was difficult for any man, I think, to take his male
Yeah.
dog because
Uh-huh.
I don't know what it is. We're crazy, I guess. But after that, and now I won't. I mean, every dog we get, it gets fixed. That's just the way it is.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's what we did when we got Buddy, and Buddy's as healthy as he can be. I mean, if that's what people are concerned with, he's
Oh
very
yeah,
healthy,
most
very
male
active.
dogs, if you take a male dog to get him fixed, get him there in the morning and afternoon, and probably by late afternoon, he's running around
Oh yeah.
and not even noticing. Maybe
Mm-hmm.
running a little faster because he's not as heavy. I don't know.
Yeah, that's
But they
true.
do. I don't think it affects males. Females, it's a little bit more intrusive, maybe, but they all need to be fixed. There's very few dogs that I would say do not need to be fixed because the population has got to be controlled. The only other way to control the population is to put them down, and that's just doesn't seem right.
Uh,
Not in 2022. We're beyond that.
mm-hmm.
So, and
You're
that's
out.
one. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
So that's what in Wisconsin. That is one thing. They regulate things like that. And I don't like government regulations, but in Wisconsin, the state of Wisconsin, they do an excellent job of controlling their population. That's why they're able to take dogs from other places because they just don't have the overpopulation that we have down here. We get calls every day from people with a litter of puppies every day. I mean,
Well, we
probably
have to be responsible. I mean, that's all there is to it. We've got to be responsible about that.
that's right. And if you have a dog that it's just a mixed breed or whatever, there's really no reason. And one other good reason to get them fixed, a lot of times it'll tone male dogs down so they won't fight with other dogs. I mean, there's just a lot of benefits. They say that it cuts the cancer rate on male and female dogs once they're fixed. So,
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's just a lot of benefits to get them spayed or neutered. There's a lot more things wrong if you don't.
Mm-hmm.
Mainly puppies, and I love puppies, but we got too many.
I do too. Well, the Christmas is about to come up, so this is another thing we've got to guard against. So this is people who want to get a puppy, but they've never done research. They've never had one before. It's a popular thing to do, and they're going to be a little trouble. I mean, they just are. They're like kids. I mean, they want attention. They want to be fed. That they want to be played
And
with.
they are so cute, and everything's great about them. And See, we go through. I'm just be honest on me and Wanda. December is normally a really tough month for me and her both. It's just not. We struggle, and a lot of because everybody that comes out here, 9 out of 10 of them want puppies. Of course, they want to present somebody with a puppy for Christmas. The other thing is they want small dogs, and so every Christmas we see all these big old dogs or older dogs, not even old. They just are stuck here, and all the other ones, the puppies come in and go out. And the saddest part about that is by June of the next year, probably 30% of the puppies will go back to a shelter somewhere because they're not cute and cuddly anymore. They're bigger, so they grow up. People say, oh, it's just too much trouble, and they want to bring them back. So we go through that every year. About May or June, we get back a lot of the Christmas puppies, and it's just people.
I'm going to differ with that, people. I really am, because Buddy's a big old boy. He probably weighs about 80 pounds. And this is the sweetest dog ever. I mean, I've always had big dogs. I like big dogs.
Oh, I do too. And being here, I sympathize with big dogs more. Of course, I'm a big guy. So if I was a dog, I'd be living out here in a kennel for my whole life. I wouldn't be adopted.
I doubt it.
Because like I say, everybody walks in, 9 out of 10 want a little bitty dog or a puppy. And then once a dog gets to be about a year old, and if he's got any size, they just kind of get stuck here. And we try to figure, there are a lot of people that do come here and get big dogs, but percentage wise, we're just in a society that likes young things and small things. That's just the way people are. That's the way people are.
But something, I've never been the person to go with the trends. I go with what I like. I don't want to be led around by the nose and, like some movie star telling me what kind of dog I like.
I'm hoping. Go ahead.
Well, I mean, if you're looking, because society gets kind of weird when the price of things go up. You get more robberies, you get more, things, people want to steal stuff from your yard. If you got a big dog, somebody's going to think twice about robbing your house.
See, we're on the same sheet of music. The reason I was just getting ready to say, I'm hoping that if things do start to go kind of sketchy as far as crime, people can start to appreciate big dogs, and they'll start saying, hey, I'm of security, because a big dog does give you a lot of security feeling. We've got a big black lab pit bull mix at the house, and I've never seen her bite anybody, but I'm telling you, you would think she would. And hey, that gives me, I know when I'm asleep and she barks, I mean, to me, I know she's protecting us. The little dogs that bark, burglar wouldn't even think twice. They go in there and say, oh, it's just a little dog. Even though they might be meaner, but that big dog, when she barks, you feel like, man, she means it.
Absolutely. Because Buddy, every time somebody drives up, he alerts us and he lets us know. He's better than the alarm system we have.
Oh, wow.
We have an alarm system too, but he lets us know when the mail carrier comes by. He lets us know,
And he's probably got a real deep bark, doesn't he?
Yeah. He sounds vicious. He really does. Now, he's the sweetest thing you've ever seen to us. I mean, just a sweet baby. And just lay down and let you rub his belly. I wonder if that's why some people don't want a big dog. Maybe they think, well, they're all vicious. They're even vicious to their owners. Not this dog.
Yeah, it could be. People that don't understand dogs, it could be. And if a big dog bites you, it's going to hurt worse than, it's all going to make you mad. But if a big dog bites you, it could actually do some damage. You said that about the alarm. Several years ago, somebody registered for some kind of alarm thing at a carnival or whatever. So, of course, everybody wins, but I got a call saying, oh, I'd won an alarm system. And I wasn't interested at the time. And I said, I've got 6 dogs in my house. I'm pretty sure I've got an adequate alarm system. And he went on to tell me about how burglars poison dogs and stuff. And I thought, I've never heard of that. Could happen. But if a burglar comes to my house, they're going to know they're going to get warned not to come inside by all my dogs.
Absolutely. But I'm going to tell you, there's nothing more sweeter than this big old dog. And what he'll do is when it's just feeling me there, he'll just lay on the ground, wants us to rub his belly. He's just and I'll say, you're just a big old baby. And we talk to him just like he's our kid.
How old is he now? How old is Buddy?
He's about 6 years old now.
Yeah, see, he's the right good age. I mean, we got a lot of 6-year-old dogs out here. By then, they're calm enough. They're calmer, and they're not chewing up everything. If you want a dog, at least consider a big dog. I'm telling you, our big dogs at the house, I mean, you just can't, they're just something about them. I mean, I don't know what it is. I'm like you, I prefer big dogs. They can go outside. You don't have to worry about anything happening to them outside because they can defend themselves. So I'm just a
Well,
big dog kind of guy.
I would just think that in this day and time, you just want the security of a big dog. I mean, that's better than any alarm system.
Yeah, well, and some things we run across on that end. A lot of apartment complexes have weight limits on dogs. Most
Right.
housing authority people. So that we actually had some people came the other day to adopt one, and he weighed probably 70 pounds. And then we found that they lived at the housing authority in Boaz, and their limit I think is 30 pounds.
Oh, yeah.
So that cut that adoption out because the system won't allow it. Now I think there's ways around it, but you got to get a doctor involved. Have to have all kinds of paperwork and stuff. But still, a lot of places restrict the size of dog, and of course for different reasons. And in an apartment, you may not need a Saint Bernard, but
Yeah.
you can have a 50-pound dog. I don't see why that would be a problem.
Uh-huh. That's true. But this is the security of all it. Let's talk about volunteers. I know you guys can always use a volunteer.
We can, and we get quite a few. This past weekend, the Boaz Harvest Festival went on, and we had several volunteers help there. So it doesn't have to be at the shelter taking care of dogs all the time.
Mhm.
Events like the Harvest Festival, we needed people to help, set things up, and there were some dogs there, but the care of the dogs wasn't the volunteer part. It might be helping fold T-shirts that we sell or whatever,
Mhm.
but we need volunteers. We are absolutely dependent on them. And I'm going to have to drive to Wisconsin tomorrow night or Thursday night, and we've actually had volunteers make that trip before for us. So hey, if, volunteers for driving. If you like to drive and think you might like to go to Illinois or Wisconsin or Atlanta for us, come talk to us. Because we need volunteers. A, because it's free. We're always broke.
Yeah.
So sometimes if the work gets done and needs to be done by somebody who doesn't expect a paycheck. So yeah, volunteers, and we need them for every sort. If you like dogs but don't want to be involved in the direct care of dogs, still come out here and check us out because we'll find something. We need construction people. We really have. I mean, we're really needing somebody right now that's a handyman kind of
Mhm.
job, and on a limited budget, handiwork is expensive.
Yeah.
Even if volunteer labor and still by the supplies, it's still expensive. But yeah, we need volunteers for that kind of stuff. So
Mhm.
it's just we need them. And we actually are involved in a course about volunteers. So if you can get 20% of your work done by volunteers, you've done well. And we're not there yet. So we need some volunteers to step up.
Mhm. Let's talk about winter and fall care for dogs. Now, it's a
Okay.
little different now, but Buddy's beginning to eat more,
All of
and
our
he is
dogs.
getting a little bit chillier.
Yes, our dogs, you can just tell the difference. And, our food, we go through about 250 to 300 pounds of food a day. And
Huh?
in the summertime, a lot of times they won't eat all their food instantly, but now all the dogs are eating a lot more. We have an old dog at the house. She's like 15. We got her in 2009, and we didn't expect she would keep living, but she's eating more, and she's not
Uh-huh.
doing anything but laying around sleeping. But she's all the dogs are eating more right now, which cause by going back to cost and things like that, dog food is so high that so it's just one of those things. And we're an outdoor shelter, so we're in the process of putting straw in all the dog houses,
Okay.
making sure they have a nice, dry, warm place to stay. Our dogs are used to it because they're always outside, but still, if it gets real cold this winter and you got it in your heart, let your dog inside. A lot of people would never do that, but there are people who I think if the poor dog's sitting out on the porch and it's cold, let them in. I mean, it's not going to kill you to let your dog come in when it's 25 degrees outside, and they may not like it, but still, we let all of our dogs stay in, and that's the way we got to have it. Wouldn't have it any other way.
Now they eat more in the wintertime, but that's just to kind of help them gain a little fat, keep warmer. Is that right?
I believe so. I think that, yeah, they'll start to beef up a little bit, and so they eat more. I actually, I can't say I'm eating more, but even me, I feel like I'm more hungry right now than normal. So I don't know. Maybe it's just every mammal has to start
Uh,
beefing up in the wintertime. Yeah,
uh,
I'm struggling with trying to do anything healthy eating wise. I just keep wanting to eat all the time, and dogs are probably the same way.
hmm Well, it just kind of helps them stay warmer. But what about drinking more? Do you need to feed them more water and that kind of thing
Right.
too?
And of course, we water our dogs all constantly watering
And
them.
make sure it's clean. Make sure the
Oh
water's
yeah. It's I have been to places where I've seen the dog chained up and they've got an old bucket of water that's just so nasty. And I don't know for sure. I mean, I've seen dogs pass by a clean water bowl and drink out of a puddle. I don't know how dogs what
I
they
know
think.
Buddy has done that. And I'm doing all this stuff, making sure he's got good clean water, and he'll go to a mud puddle and start drinking. I'm
And drink.
like,
So
Buddy.
I don't know if dogs have the same standards that we have on clean water, but still, it's really is. It's sad to see a dog with a bucket of water that's green and
Uh,
nasty looking, and the people don't care. But so water
uh-huh.
your dog every day, feed your dog every day, at least once, preferably twice.
hmm
If you got a chance, walk your dog regularly, so to give them exercise, keep them warm in the wintertime. They deserve it on the warm in the wintertime, we have a program called Second Chance Shelter. And the goal of that program is to give every dog within 50 miles of this shelter a house. Make sure there's no dog standing out on the end of a chain in the rain or the cold with no chance of getting cover. So if anybody out there sees a dog, and even if it's more than 50 miles away, let me know. If we can, we'll work it out. But we got dog houses available. So far we've given out almost 60, I think. A lot of mail carriers are really good about this. They'll call and say, "Hey, there's this dog on such and such road,
hmm
and they don't have a house anywhere to be seen. So we'll just go deliver one." And a lot of times we take a bale of straw just to make sure the dog got some chance of getting in out of the elements. And we've taken as far as Henniger, and on the other side, we've gone all the way over into Morgan County to deliver dog houses,
hmm
and no charge, no real judgments. I mean, I may think you're a sorry human being deep down if you can't give your dog a house, but you won't feel that when I deliver the dog house. I'll think, I'm just there to help the dog, keep
hmm
them, give them some kind of chance to be warm and dry and comfortable.
Now, are you also looking for folks to donate dog houses?
Oh, absolutely. Like, if your dog's passed away, or if you've upgraded and got air conditioned dog house and you got that igloo dog house, hey, we'll take them. And that's now the thing is on these, we need the plastic, like prefab dog houses like Igloo brand or something like that. It don't have to be Igloo, but just the plastic ones, because wooden ones, a lot of times, normally we're delivering them and it's just too bulky and too heavy to move. I appreciate some people have actually brought us handmade, homemade dog houses, and they end up staying here for our dogs.
hmm
But as far as this program goes, they need to be something pretty maneuverable, something we
Yeah.
can load up in the truck and take and drop off. And hopefully the dogs will get shelter. That's the whole point. Just don't let them be out in the rain. Do not let don't let any dog you see stand out in the rain on the end of a chain, because it's just not right. And we can help with that.
Absolutely. One little tip for water, and dog won't even taste it. If you put just if it depends on how much water you give them. So let's say per half gallon of water, if you put that out there, because you can get these little things where the water just kind of trickles in,
Uh-huh.
and it works by gravity. But per gallon of water, if you put a couple tablespoons of just white vinegar, just the cheap stuff, vinegar, that kind of helps too for not a residue to build, especially in the hot summertime,
Hmm.
and it just kind of it's just good for the dog, and
I've heard of that.
they can't
Um,
taste it.
they can't taste it in that. We don't do that here, but I've actually heard of people doing that. It's probably, vinegar. A lot of people take vinegar every day, apple
We
cider,
do. hmm
and it's supposed to be good for you. So I can't imagine it having any kind of, I mean, probably have a good effect on a
It
dog.
have a good. It's good for for their digestive system. But you can
Right.
just use, go to Albertville Foodland. They're one of our sponsors. Go to Albertville Foodland Plus, and they have the store brand, just white vinegar. You don't have to
Uh-huh.
get anything fancy. And we give it to our chickens. We'll put just a little bit, and it's just real good for animals. Just a little bit, just a tablespoon will do per gallon of water.
Vinegar's what we used it for cleaning before. You would think with the smell, vinegar would not be a good cleaning solution, but it really works. We've used
And
it
it
for
goes
cleaning.
away, it evaporates. So
It
I have
does, and it's a
asthma,
good
so I
cleaner.
can't use anything like a chemical cleaner or anything like that. And
Yes,
so I
it's
use
good.
vinegar for everything.
Yeah, we've used it to clean before, like in some
Mhm.
areas, it seems like it works real well. But
Mhm.
the effects of vinegar on the dog's health would probably be real good. And like I said, it keeps the water maybe from getting all funky.
Yeah. It won't get, but the best thing to do when you water your animals too, we just throw the old water out. We'll throw it out and just give them fresh water. That's the best thing you can do. And I like stainless steel water, containers for water instead of plastic. Plastic
Well,
to me just builds some kind of a residue.
we have to use stainless steel. Actually, we've got some big plastic ones that I don't know what they're water bowls, but they weren't made for dogs. But
Mhm.
they're like a foot and a half across. We've got those, but a lot of our water bowls are stainless steel because some of these dogs, if it's not metal, they're going to chew it up.
Uh-huh.
Even so we have to, some dogs have the plastic ones, and some, but the ones that chew always have the metal ones, the stainless steel ones, and stainless
Well,
steel needs to keep clean.
yeah, it stays cleaner a lot longer because the plastic is kind of porous like, and it can, build green gunky stuff.
Right, right. We've seen that, and like I said, but that's something else we do too. As we clean, we scrub all our water bowls and stuff out. Um, just in my mind, when you're feeding water your dog, just think, how would I like to have to drink that? If you'll just have that thought, then you'll be pretty good about.
Yeah, you wouldn't drink it. You wouldn't
Oh
drink out
no,
of something like that. So
mm-mm.
that's absolutely correct.
Some of the situations we've seen that, I mean, it's just been, if they have some of them, they don't even have water. I mean,
Mhm.
we've had situations where dogs don't have a water bowl anywhere within any kind of reach.
That's terrible. That
It
is a
happens, and nothing's really ever done about it. But that is one of the things we've seen a lot of, especially in the summertime. But right now, dogs are thirsty. Like you said, they're eating more. They're also drinking more.
Mhm.
So, food and water, you got to do it, people. If you got a dog, you got to keep them fed and keep them watered,
That's
keep them
true.
covered.
Now, could you guys use more blankets for them with the wintertime coming on?
Some do. The blankets, we've got a whole lot of blankets. A lot of these dogs don't. I mean, if you give them a blanket, when you come back in the next morning, you have a shreds. You just have a piece of, I mean, shelter dogs are maybe a little bit different than your normal household dog. Because, I mean, we straw is their main thing to keep them warm, and it works real well. And we do need bales of straw, by the way. If anybody has, I'm not, straw works better than hay for us. It just seems to hold its form a little better. But yeah, we put some blankets out, and for the dogs that just want to have a little extra warmth. But a lot of dogs don't want it. A lot of dogs sleep on top of their doghouse, even though it's cold. They just like to, you know. I mean, they've got personality, but blankets or something, that's something else. If you got them, we'll take them.
All right, we've got just about a little bit over a minute left in the segment. What would you like to tell folks before you go? Time flies, Doug, every time you're on the
It
show.
does. First of all, adopt a dog. Adopt, don't shop. That's kind of the motto. Come to the shelter if you want a dog. Open your mind and your heart to the idea, at least, of maybe getting a bigger dog, because that's the ones that really need the help. Spay and neuter. If you want, you can call us at any time at 256-561-2411, 2411,
Mhm.
and talk to us if you want to volunteer, if you want to adopt, you have questions about the shelter. You can call that number, and also our second chance shelter on Facebook. You can find out everything about us on Facebook.
Mhm. You'll see all the little dogs that have been adopted, and that's pretty cool. And if you'd like to have this newsletter, this is really cool right here. You'll get to see all the latest things and things they're looking for: leashes, pedigree, canned food, the ground, and also Purina puppy or dog chow, puppy pads. There's all kinds of things that they could use, and it's also on their Facebook page. Doug, thank you so much for being on the show today.
Always love it, and I hope
I do.
that next month we're not upside down anymore.
I hope so too. You guys take care. Thank you again, Doug. Tell
Thank
Wanda,
you.
hey.
I will if I can find her.
Bye.